Hello, good morning. Welcome to another Stampin' Chat. Today I'm going to be using the hand-penned petals yet again, so it's my focus of the month. Hopefully next week I will be sharing more of the Flowers of Friendship. So those are the two stamp sets and bundles that I'm focusing on this month. Who is joining me today? Let's just check I'm in the right place. Always good when you're live in the right place. Wondering if my internet is going to let me enlarge. See what happens. So I've got using as the title for the live today, I'm using the hand-penned DSP, which stands for Designer Series Paper, which in the world of a crafter is pattern paper. So I'm just using that as inspiration for my colours today. So I'm stepping away from I'm still using Pale Papaya from the In colours, but I'm stepping away from Fresh Freesia and sort of Succulents. I'm not using that today. So I'm using a couple of different greens shades. So if you're joining, say hello. My screen has frozen, so I have no idea if anyone is waving hello, commenting to say you're here. I don't know what it is at the moment. I was trying to watch, Belle, I was trying to watch you last night, but it just kept throwing me out. Facebook kept throwing me out and saying I couldn't watch the video. It was unable to view. Now, I'm sure it was just my end, but we've got like faster broadband here and it's still playing up. So morning, Ruth, how are you? Hoping to get to you today, Ruth. I have to come out to see my sister at lunchtime, so I'm going to be silly internet. I'm going to be heading out in your kind of direction, so I will stop by. Okay, my Mac just did that. Sorry, your video is unable to view. Right, without further ado, because you know, I don't really like doing this face-to-face thing. It's not really me, but it has to be done because I love seeing you guys, and hopefully this month, towards the end, I'm going to have some Zoom events where we can see each other and craft together. So let's turn you down. Let's put some lighting on and turn you down and get crafting. Morning, Kate. How are you doing? So I'm relying on comments on my phone, and I'm always aware that I'm looking in the wrong place because everything is back to front. I don't do the whole screen switch, screen flip, because it means then I've got to flip it back before I turn you down. So I wait to show you anything until I turn you down. So Ruth, I'm doing a great job. Oh, bless you. Okay, right. Excuse the palm of my hand while we go down onto my desk. Bring in some light and let everything catch up. Oops. Oh, sorry, Alfie. That was my bin I just flipped on the floor. Sorry, sweetheart. Did that make you jump? Mummy throwing things at you? It didn't land on him, but when it landed on the floor, it made him jump. Okay, I think we'll move over a little bit. We'll come in a little bit. I was thinking today that I might go without grid paper, and then it would save me being stressed about everything being straight, and I can just pull in my little foam mat and my grid paper when I need to stamp something. And then literally just before I went live, I was like, no, I can't survive without my grid paper, because I love working on my grid paper. So morning, Jacqueline, how are you? I don't know about you guys, wherever you are, but it's a lovely bright morning here in Gloucestershire. It's really cloudy, a bit breezy, but the sun is out at the moment. I've not even looked at the weather to see what it's planning on doing today. Okay, so these are the projects that I made on my Facebook Live on Saturday morning. So you can head back and have a look at that later. Don't go now, stay for now and say hello and chat. But you can view the video that I've also, have I uploaded it to YouTube yet? I may not have uploaded it. But anyway, I will check on that. So Jacqueline, I'm trying to read from my phone. It's grey and rainy in Shropshire. Oh dear, I think that could be heading. But I can see a bit of blue sky. I can still see the Malverns. But there is a bit of cloud blowing by. So, yeah, so I did these 3 projects showing you a different way of using the hand pen petals, basically to create like your own background on things as well. So that was the 3 projects that I did. Now, today's inspiration, move that out of the way, came from the DSP, and I promised on Saturday that I would step away from using all of the in colours and focus on some of the colour combinations that are provided in the DSP. So let's just take my grid down. And I don't think I have a favourite sheet in this set. They're all beautiful. Some of them are quite busy. Let's move you out of the way. I did go through this the other day, but you've got quite busy images, and then you've got lovely kind of patterns that are very usable, but that coordinate with the other side, and I love that. So really beautiful. They could be fussy cut if you wanted them to, but I just feel this pack, it has quite a lot of different colours in it, but your creations are going to be so different if you follow these colour combinations. You know, you don't have to think about it. Like this one here, I would team with Highland Heather, either So Saffron or probably So Saffron, I think that's the colour in here, Garden Green and Pool Party. Such a lovely colour combination that you can pull out. This one uses Misty Moonlight and Blushing Bride. So you have to watch this space for more done with it. So, but today I'm focusing on this part of the DSP. Let me bring my basket in and you can see my colours and a sneak at what we're doing. I've got 3 projects to create, so I will try and get a wriggle on. Let me just see if I can see any comments. Okay, I'm just going to have to keep scrolling down. It just won't let me enlarge my screen. As soon as I enlarge my screen, everything kind of freezes. So these, let's bring out the colours. These are the colours I am focusing on for today's projects, and using that sheet of DSP. Something just fell out of my basket. So I've got Garden Green, so quite a few colours, but Garden Green and Mint Macaron, which surprisingly as leaves, doubled up as leaves, works really well. Then we've got some Pool Party, Cinnamon Cider, which is a really great kind of rusty colour, and Pale Papaya, and these 2 together just look beautiful on their own. They go really well. So those are my ink colours. Oh dear, bits are falling out of my basket. I've got a few different embellishments that I'm going to be pulling in. I think I'm going to start with a card first. I'm not going to show you what I'm doing. Let's make sure I grab the right pack. So this is my kit. Let me stand my card up so that I can see what I'm doing, because I'm following something that I made over the weekend. So I worked most of the weekend. I did get a bit of digging done on Sunday, but it's such hard work. One of the beds in my kitchen garden, down in my veggie garden, one of the beds, a tree root is growing underneath it. So I get to a certain point and then I just can't dig it. I haven't got the strength to break the root. So I need a man, dare I say, I need a man to help me with that. And my man was away car racing all weekend. So I did as much as I could and as my back would allow me. But I did feel like I accomplished something. I got quite a few jobs done around here. So here are my pieces. So Pool Party base. I've got a lovely die cut panel from the Stitched So Sweetly, and that's in vellum. Then my front layers are Cinnamon Cider and then a basic white layer. I'm going to be stamping on that one. Put that to one side. And using the tailor-made tags, I'll bring them in. I know most of you've seen them because another product I'm focusing on this month. So these are the tailor-made tags. So lots of possibilities with those. So I've die cut 3 of those ready, and I've got some skinny bits of basic white that I will be, oh, I've just seen I'm missing a bit, but I can do that after, that I'll be stamping my greeting on. So I'm going to pop all of these out of the way for the moment, and I'm going to focus on this piece. Now from the stamp set, excuse the arm, I am working with this stamp today, but I'm also going to be working with this one. But it's going to look different to my other projects because we're using such different colours. So first of all, for this card, I'm going to start with this the largest image out of all of the stamps. And then I've also mounted up the infill. Of course, you could colour this with Stampin' blends, but for the live, it's just quick and easy to colour in with the infill stamps, and after all, that's what they're designed for. So if you've got a lot to do, then why not make it easier and faster for you? But of course, if you love a bit of colouring in and you need a bit of therapy, then go ahead and you can do it that way too. And that's the beauty about this lined image set. I just think it's screaming out for so many different options. I've also mounted up the 2 leaves and the little double flower as well, which is really sweet. So to start with on this one, let's check I'm central. I am. Morning, Lucy-Anne. How are you today? You've probably got similar weather to what we've got here. Although these showers that are coming down there, we had hail yesterday. So besides the colours I showed you, I'm using my trusty Memento. And what I'm going to do on this one, let's take a real scrap, a good old scrap of grid paper, and we'll keep that other bit. And I am going to ink part of this stamp randomly and create a border. So let's start. Doesn't really matter where I go. I want a mixture of flowers and leaves. So let's just ink that again because I can. Let's just randomly go. And as I'm inking, I'm going to turn, and I want a mixture of leaves and flowers around the edge. So I'm just working around the edge of here. Didn't ink that bit up very well, but it'll be fine. In fact, I want quite a bit of greenery on here, so I'm going to pull in those large leaves. So what are we all up to today? Some of you working. Let's go this way and use the other side of the stamp and bring in that little flower. And I think bring the large one back in. Yeah, what are you all up to today? It could be another mixed day of weather, so I think if you're out and about, you're going to need an umbrella. Right, let's have these flowers again. And then I think I need something a bit smaller in that gap. Maybe just that one there, like that. So I've just created a border all the way around the edge. I'll use some grid paper. So rather than just using this as it's obvious and just stamping it and cutting out like I've been doing, excuse me, I'm just creating this lovely border around here, which I'm going to fill in with colour. Now I also do need some images from these flowers. So will that fit on there? Just about. Let's pull that back in and then we can keep this grid paper clean. So I'm just going to stamp another whole one. Just about going to go on. Let me think what I need. like that. And then we can colour this in as well. So for the infill, I'm going to use a bit of pale papaya, some cinnamon cider and pool party. So these are going to be the colours of my flowers. So let's open all of these up. Move you out of the way. Pop my colours here. Doesn't matter how much space you have on your desk. You always seem to fill it, don't you? Right, you're quite close in, so hopefully you've got a good view. So on this one, I'm going to start. I'm going to have to get this grid paper dirty anyway. There's no getting away for it. Let's start with the flowers first. So I like to always start with the large flower. And I'm going to focus on, let's bring it here and then I can hold it. The pale papaya. So this is an in colour. And I have to think which way round my stamp goes to infill. So another large flower. Is that a large flower? Yep. Over here. I think that's right, yeah. Then we've got a slight edge of one here. I think that's all of the large flower. So next flower, let's put that colour to one side and bring back the pool party. Next is the medium size flower. Actually, I should have done the other one as well. And we're just going to infill all of the medium. Let's get the stamp the right way. All of the medium ones. I've pulled out the right one, haven't I? Yeah. Didn't think I'd pulled the right one out then for a minute. And this one here. And we're just building up the colour. I think that's the only one. And then I didn't want too much of the cinnamon cider because it's a lovely kind of rusty colour, but I didn't want it to take over on my card. I wanted to focus more on the pool party and the pale papaya. So I've just done the smaller flowers. Let me get the flower the right way. In the cinnamon cider. And let's just fill in. It is quite dark. I might stamp off on some of them. Where else is one that size? I think you are one. I might just stamp that one off gently and fill in that one. I think that's the double flower. This is the trouble because I haven't inked the whole of the image. I can't tell which flower is which. But I think the rest of them are going to be the pale papaya. Apart from this one, let's do this one. Stamp that one off. While I've got this inked, let's just fill in that one. Fill in with the pool party. I think that's upside down. So you know from previous that these images don't fit exactly. They're not designed to line up exactly with the lined image. And let's just fill in, stamp that one off and we'll have a paler one on there. I missed a bit, but I can go back over. And now on this layer, I'm going to stamp off because I want a second generation. I want it to be a different shade to this. And we'll just go around filling in the other flowers with a bit of colour. Might do that one full strength. And then second generation on there. So I think that's all of my flowers coloured in. Got a fingerprint there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Might be in time to clean my hands. Lucianne, you're still in pain with your knee and hip. Oh, it's always just ongoing, isn't it? Till you get sorted. Right, stacking these inks up now, guys. Now it's time to do the leaves. So I've got garden green and mint macaron. And I'm going to do what I've been doing all along with the leaves. And that's having, with the pairs of leaves, having them in different colours. So let's start with mint macaron. So on each double leaf, I'm just going to ink up one, and the other will go in the darker colour. I think that's it for the large. So no two card is going to be the same with this, because it all depends how you've stamped this border around the outside. So just filling in one of the leaves. We'll have a pale bit down there. Might need to just fill that little bit with a bit of colour there. Okay, can you see where we're heading? Let's just clean that one off. And with the garden green, so obviously this is quite a dark, Max timed out, quite a dark green. So let's go and fill in the opposite leaf in the duo. This would also, if you did this over a whole sheet, there's my smudge, it would look beautiful. So I'm just going around, filling in the colour. Obviously, if you were going to use your Stampin' blends, this would take quite some time to colour in. If you love colouring in, not a problem. But just be aware that this would have to be for someone very special, because there's going to be a lot of work going into it. Okay, I'm feeling really nervous now because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ink pads open in front of me. I've cleaned my hands, but I've got a couple of smudges going on. But to be honest, you're not going to see that. You're not going to notice. So I think, apart from here maybe, let's colour. I think my finger went in then. Let's have a bit of cinnamon cider just over there. And then I think I'm happy with that. That's kind of filled all of the gaps. It's a bit plainer over here, but it's going to be fine. So now, where are all my pieces? I do need to do my leaves on here, just a couple. Let's do that quickly. I know I've pulled away. Which ones do I want? Just these. My piercing mat, my foam mat. And just one in macaron. I need to learn how to change the settings on my Mac so that it doesn't go to sleep so quickly. Forever refreshing it. All the things you have to think about. Dropping my grid paper on the floor. Okay, so pool party base. This card won't take too long to come together now. And then what I'm going to do is bring in this layer, and I've done my matting layer just a smidge bigger so that you don't see too much of the cinnamon cider. I'm not saying I don't love cinnamon cider, but it's quite a deep colour, but I just wanted a little bit to tie it all together. So I used cinnamon cider on one of my 6 card classes lately, and I posted, obviously I post on Instagram as regularly as I can, and the love for the card with the butterflies using this colour with, I think it was Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy, it went down really well. So this layer can go straight down onto my base. So you off work today, Lucianne? Is Tuesday your day off? Do you get a day off or do you work every day? And then I kind of felt that I needed something over here. So I die cut this panel just to kind of soften the edges of the leaves, because obviously I need to put something in the center here and I needed it to pop out away from this layer behind. So I could have cut a whole piece. I don't know if I've got some scrap here. It's not scrap, it's a leftover piece, but I could have cut a whole piece and popped it over like that, which would have just given it just that subtle look. But I didn't want to hide too much of it. So I've just die cut this lovely panel and I'm just popping Tombow in the center. I'm going to pop it straight down on the middle like that. And the reason I'm only putting adhesive in the middle is so that it doesn't show through when it dries. Okay, I think we're good. Let me just see if I got any more comments. Oh, good morning, Janet. Are you still here? I missed your comment there. Oh, Ruth, if you've got rain, that means it could be heading this way. And Janet, it's still windy in Spain. Yeah, our wind has dropped a bit. I seem to be forever picking up broken twigs every time I walk Alfie around the garden at the moment. So, okay, so this layer has gone down. You can see it's flapping around all over the place, but it's secured, it's anchored in the middle, so it's not going to be going anywhere. Right, next thing is I'm going to take my 3 tags. Now, let me show you which size this is. So from the prettier tag, it's the second one in here. Can't pick it up. That one. And then obviously you've got the small one there. So you've got 4 of each size. And I'm just going to pop them together like this. And bring in some of our lovely linen thread. This now, oh no, linen thread is still, I have to double check now. I think linen thread comes in a different form now, a selection. I'll have a look in the catalogue in a minute and confirm that. In fact, let me grab it now. Or I could just be thinking about baker's twine. Yeah, baker's twine. So linen thread still comes as it is, like this. I absolutely love this product because it's just so natural. But the baker's twine comes in black, grey granite, very vanilla, and a crumb cake. And it's like a large pack, so you get loads in there. So if you love these kind of earthy, naturally twines, then definitely go for that. The other thing is I'm going to be using is the woven ribbon, and this is in the pale papaya. Look at the lovely texture in there. I'm going to bring in my big scissors, and what I need to do is I need a piece. Let's just roughly cut a piece. I'm going to have to trim the edge of this because once I pull it through my tag, it's going to fray the edges, and sometimes it's difficult to cut ribbon when you've got a fray, when you haven't got quite enough. So I'm cutting it a bit longer than I need to, and then I'm just going to like pull it taut so that it's straight, and then I'm going to pinch it together like this. Take some linen thread. Let's straighten it off. It'll make my life a little bit easier. Pop it underneath like that. Hold it down with my finger. Don't want to waste too much of this. And I'm just tying a knot. That was quite a waste. So I'm just going to tie a little knot like that, and that will just secure my ribbon in place. And I only want short tails for that. I need to get more linen thread. I'm low. Can you see how nasty that end looks? And it's quite tricky now to cut that straight, because if you take your scissors in this way, quite often the ribbon moves. So I always find it's best to hold from this end and then snip without cutting the other piece, like that. And I'm just going to shorten the other one. A good pair of scissors is essential for ribbon cutting. So I've got my tag like this, but now I'm going to just separate them out like this. Oh, got a bit of ribbon stuck to me. And a little flaw in my card there. So don't want them too far apart, about like that. So I'm just going to fan them. Look guys, a new sheet. Gosh, I don't have to get through these. And I'm going to pop a couple like where they are separated from each other, just to secure them together. So over those joins. It's hard getting these out when you don't have very good nails. And another one randomly there. That should balance it out. I've got some little edgy pieces I need to use as well, so we'll maybe use those in a moment. And then we just pull the backs off. And pop this down right in the middle of my card. Now I thought about, actually let's just pull those apart a bit. I thought about how this tag was going to go. Should it be slanty with a straight top? Should my white tag be level like that? And then I just decided, let's just do it like right in the middle like that. So my white tag is quite wonky, but I'm not worried about that in the slightest. So I've just laid that down on like that. Sadly, it's not hiding my smudges, but I will probably do something about that later. I could do like a bit of decoupage and just layer up, restamp that flower, layer it up and cut it over, stick it over the top. That one could be a bit dodgier to cover, but I'm not worried about that. I will sort that. Not a problem. So from these images that I stamped, I'm just going to really quickly fussy cut, straighten the back while I do this, give my back a rest, because my desk that I film on is quite low. I do need to have a bit of a play around in here of where I film, but I just feel using this desk, I've got good light coming in at a couple of different angles. Right, sorry, I've just got something popping up on my screen. Yeah, I feel I've got good light coming in until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun tries to come in, and then it's just too shadowy. But I've got a lovely desk behind me, one of the IKEA kitchen islands, which I kind of use as my cutting station, where I take my photographs and things like that for Instagram. So I've just trimmed out those flowers. Don't need to be too fussy because they're going on a white background here. So let's just turn up the leaves and then I'll turn down the flowers like that. Pop that there. Let's bring in the mat. Take my skinny strip. I just cut a slither off of a piece of white. In fact, that looks a bit crooked. I might need to move you. Hoping I'm still in shot. If you're just joining, please do say hello. I'm trying to keep up with comments if I can. So I'm using on this one the congratulations. I love this. I love the plain font, but I love that it's just a small greeting. I'm going to ink it in the garden green. Did a bit of rocking then. That's the trouble when you ink with one hand. Right, before I start, I've got a bit of a bow on my card and I want it to be flat. So I won't breathe for a minute. Nothing worse than a heavy breather when they're demonstrating. Hovering over my camera, and I'm going to snip off here and then just create an angle at the other end. And then behind this layer, I'm going to pop, how shall I do this? Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Just pop a couple of mini dimensionals behind there, like that. I also need, which I've got one done ready in another bag, a scallopy border. So that's from the Penned Flowers dies. And I've been using this border a lot, as much as the other dies as well. I do love this little scallopy border. So I'm just going to do, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scallops. Like that. Snip off the other end. And I'm going to take off most of the edge, so it's a very skinny little border like that, and I'm going to pop that straight down onto my tag first of all. So I'm going to have, and I'm not going to stick with the angle of my tag, I'm just going to have it straight, so it's going to be as straight as my card. This could make the eyes go a bit funny because I'm trying to look at this line but also trying to make it straight. Just got glue on me then. Just gonna have a quick drink. Jacqueline, you're enjoying these colours? Yeah, and that's the great thing about the DSP. I'll just bring it back in. Is that we're just so inspired by what Stampin have give us. It just helps us. It influences us to make a start. The only other thing is we can become in that way heavily influenced and only use the colours that are in a pack of DSP. But this pack has so many different colours. You're going to end up with so many different options of how your projects will finish. Right, so this little skinny, just got a bit of dimensional hanging over the edge. This little bit is going to go above there like that. See, it looks, my eye is telling me it doesn't look straight, but I think it is. And then a couple of dimensionals. Cannot pick these up today. Literally just a couple behind here. And we're going to pop this one down. I'm going to tuck some of it under and just hang it over the edge like that. And then to finish, I've showed you earlier, I've got a couple of different embellishments. And what I'm going to use, I think, is just the basic pearls. The genial gems would look lovely on here. Also the metallic pearls, so these come in gold and silver. But I'm going to take, I've pulled in 2 blends that go with this, both in the dark. So I've got Pale Papaya and Pool Party. And I'm just going to colour in using the bullet tip. We'll have some small in the Pool Party. If you've got like a gold Sharpie pen, these look lovely. Or a silver, obviously, the metallic range. They look lovely coloured in. So we'll have a couple in the Pool Party. Oop, and then a couple of a different size in the Pale Papaya. Like that. Let's colour another one in just for luck. in case we decide to use a bigger one. I love this little technique. I think it's great because the pearls and the rhinestones are so affordable, and I love that you get all the different sizes. Right, there's my take your pick. Stick into everything in my basket, and we'll have some pool party ones on this flower. So I'm just going to cluster them up together like that. So I'm going to move you in a bit. Oh, my MacBook. Need to sort the refresh. Then we'll have a medium size here and a small. This is in the pale papaya, and then I think we'll pop this large one on that cinnamon cider flower because we can't leave it out. And there we go. So it's quite layered. Got a few nasty fingerprints on there, but I will sort something out with that, not a problem. We'll soon hide that. Maybe a couple of pearls dotted would just detract the eye. So that's my first card. So another way of using this stamp set rather than just stamping the whole of an image. So using parts of it to create a frame. Okay, so what have I got for you next? Let us put that to one side. Let's do a little 3D project. So I've got a cute little box. Let's bring out some pieces. What was that just fell out? A polo. And put my measurements to one side. So this is a little bit, it's going to be, it's not now, it's just sheets of cardstock. Again, pool party, so all of my projects today are focusing around this sheet of the DSP. I've only made this once. I designed this on Saturday and I've made one, so I'm hoping, I'm praying that it works again and that I've written down the right measurements. Otherwise, we could be creating something totally new. So I've got a piece of pool party, and this measures 5 1/4 by 8 inches. I'm just going to check that. So it's 5 1/4 by 8. So you will get both of these pieces from one sheet of A4, or you could get 2 of these bases from a sheet of A4, and you will get your 2 lid pieces as well. So basically a sheet of A4 per project. Just see if there's any comments. Yeah, Ruth, the tailor-made tags, they're just brilliant, brilliant. Morning, Kathy, how are you doing? How are you? Vicky, you're joining us for the first time. Thank you for stopping by. Just recently found pretty card. And you're in Australia, goodness me. What time are you there? What time would it be there? I'm not very good with time zones out of Europe. I'm pretty rubbish, in fact. Okay, so my MacBook has decided to freeze. Hopefully you're all still live with me. Let's just give it a refresh and all will come back. So this larger piece, which measures 5 1/4 by 8, I'm going to do a bit of scoring. So let's bring in my Simply Scored tool. Move everything out of the way and make a bit of room. On my bone folder, and I use the small ballpoint tip for cardstock, and then the larger ball is much better on your DSP because you've got less chance of tearing it with the larger ball. So I'm going to score this landscape, I think you're in shot, at 3 1/2 inches and 4 1/2 inches. Okay. So it's 8 inches by 5 1/4, scoring landscape at 3 1/2 and 4 1/2. Now there should be a portrait which I would have thought, let me get my ruler, I haven't got this written down. See, this is what happens when you make something. It should just be the same. So it should just be turnip portrait and score at 1 inch from each edge. Okay. If you haven't got a scoreboard and you were looking at getting one, this board is amazing. You might think that it's a bit of a boring purchase. You might prefer to get a stamp set, but it's such a good tool. Honestly, I've had mine for years. It comes with the scory tool. What's its actual name? My brain has escaped me. The stylus, I suppose. So it comes with the stylus. It comes with some markers that go on the top as well. And you can also buy the other plate that goes on it. But I work in inches, so apologising as well if you hate working in inches, but virtually everything I do is in inches. So Vicky, it's 7:40 in the evening on Tuesday night, so you're ahead of us. Well, thank you for stopping by. It's nice to have people from across the seas. My comments have gone. I'd like to be able to see what you guys are talking about. So that's my base. Then for my lid, it measures 3 1/4 by 8 inches. And I'm going to turn it landscape and score at 3 1/2 and 4 1/2. The same. Now I'm just looking. I think it's all coming back to me now, how I created this. Right, scoring is all done. So really simple scoring. I'm going to pop the lid to one side for the moment. And I'm literally, hopefully you can see these score lines. I'm going to turn it landscape and just snip up on these 2 score lines to that first score line. And I'm going to take out teeny little wedge from each of those, so just a teeny weeny bit. Turn it around, and then on these 2 lines again, just cut. Am I doing this the right way? My box looks like it's the other way round. I've got to check. Yeah, I don't know why do I keep doubting myself? It's because I've only made it once and I haven't played and practiced with it. So, okay. Let's just, I've got some floating Alfie hairs in the air. Let's just burnish these score lines with my trusty bone folder. Kate, you're saying the scoreboard was one of the first things you bought. Yeah, it's fabulous. It is really good. I think when people, especially if you like to make boxes and things, I mean, you can use a ruler and you can use like a spongy surface and a stylus on its own, or something like pointy but not sharp. You can use that, but the scoreboard just makes life so much easier. Okay, where am I going from here? Let's just glue this. I'm going to put Tombow on these 2 square tabs, and we're going to glue it up like this. It's always tricky filming with projects that keep not popping undone. So let's just start with this tab. Could have done with cutting a wedge off of that bit really, but so we'll just do one side first. And then we're just going to, this is where I should have cut a wedge off of that square tag. So I'm just going to go in there and cut that out, because it might just get in the way of this piece folding over. I think the other side will be all right. So we want to make sure Oh, and I've done that back to front now. I'm going to have one going one way and one going the other. But it won't hurt. We can pop that in. So what we need to do now is add Tombow to these two layers here. So if I pull it open, bit of Tombow here and bit of Tombow. I'm doing this really khaki-handed to how I would normally do it. And this one always comes up a little bit short. Don't know why. It's not going to matter. And then that one we'll just glue there like that. I've got a bit of an overhang there, but I can snip that off. And then I just like to get my bone folder in and just reinforce where I've just glued. So I've got two nice folded over edges and my rough edges are on the back there, like that. Let's now focus on the lid. So I'm just going to crease down these two score lines. And they both measure the same. And basically what we're going to do is adhere the back on, and then we're going to have this fold over closure. Let's just have a drink while I look at your messages. Would some Rocky Road fit in the box? And being posted to Bristol. Well, that's a possibility, Belle. A big possibility. Yeah, so I was while I was watching Belle last night, I had Vivi yesterday. And it's her birthday today. She is 3 today. Bless her little heart. So I had Vivi yesterday. And we watched Belle live. While we were watching Belle, we were making Rocky Road. Goodness me, did we get in a chocolatey mess, Belle. But she insists on, she's such a Miss Independent for her age. She insists on mixing. And when I try and mix and show her how, she kind of pushes me away. She's like, I can do it. I can do it. So she did let me, because I was like, let Nanny just show you how it will be easier. And she did let me come in and have a go. But yeah, we made a lovely Rocky Road. So this is my lid piece. And it's just going to fit on. It's quite snug. It fits quite snug on here. I'm not going to glue it on yet, but I want to work on this panel, which is going to be the front of my box. So I've cut 3 layering pieces. Let's give you measurements as I've given the measurements of the base. And I could probably put this, maybe when I post this, I will do some measurements for you. So the cinnamon cider measures 3 inches by 3 1/4. So that one is going to go down first. The pale papaya is going next, and that's just taken off 1 inch. So 2 7/8 by 3 1/8. That one will mount on there. So very skinny border. And 1/8 of an inch again. So 2 3/4 by 3 inches. Before that goes on, I've pre-cut another skinny border and a piece of the DSP, and this just measures 1 inch. So I cut a whole strip off at 1, and then I'm just going to pop this one down at the bottom. How am I doing for time? Goodness me. Waffling too much. I've got another card I wanted to do with you today. And then I've actually got to head back out to my sister's, take her for an appointment. So there. Not too much cinnamon cider in this bit. So, you know, maybe you might want to strategically cut so that you've got colours to bring in. But it'll be fine. And then this little skinny border, I'm just going to pop over the top. So if I just run a bit of Tombow there. Didn't want that bit up there. was a bit high. And just lay this down. Let's line it with my grid. And have an even scallop overhanging. And I'm just lining these dashy dots with a line on my grid paper. And then we'll just pull off any excess Tombow that's trying to get out. Morning, Ellie. How are you, my lovely? You missed the link. You can catch on replay, of course. Might have to go a bit higher. I think I missed the Tombow. I did. Failed. Let's put a bit more in. Failed. So just go a bit higher. Line it up with my grid paper. Turn it over and snip off the overhang. And then this can go down onto my pale papaya. So I'm trying to bring in all of the colours into this project as much as I can. I'm not using garden green cardstock, only on the previous one. And layer that up. You know me, I love my layers. Does anyone else like layers, or are you quite simple stampers? Can I put this down? I can put this down onto our lid. Like that. Nice even border. Sometimes it's hard because where you've put that score line in, you lose a couple of mil. And when you put it down, when you lay it flat, it looks like this gap is smaller than this gap. But then when you fold it back around, it's not too bad. It becomes quite even. Okay, what's next? Let's do, oh gosh, I've got a bit more stamping that I need to do. Let's bring in some scrap. And I just need one of this large one in the memento. But of course, the beauty of this stamp is that it's so quick when you're using the images in the set. So let's just stamp one of those. Refresh the Mac. Surrounded by product. Let's just trim this out for what we need. And then again, using the same colours we did before, let's just infill. Start with a pale papaya with the largest, and we're just going to go in full strength with that one. I missed a bit, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to be exactly lined up. Then, oop, nearly stamped that over the leaves then, did you see? Then we will go with Pool Party and the medium flower. Got a bit of a shake on again, haven't I? I've had my breakfast today as well, you'll be impressed. Had some breakfast. I was feeling the need this morning to eat before I go live. And then the cinnamon cider. I missed one, didn't I? I missed the double flower. Oh. And then the leaves. So we've got mint macaron. Let's just give these a clean, because I don't remember which colour I went in last with them. So we'll have mint macaron in the large, and then just fill in the smalls. And then switch that for the garden green. Little clean. We've not got any rain here yet. Fingers crossed. Mind you, the daisies, I don't think they need any more rain. Even Vivi commented yesterday when we were out in the garden. Nanny, look at all the daisies. It's like, yes, my gardener is slacking. He's been too busy preparing his racing car. Okay, that's the stamping done. The other thing I need to stamp, let's just snip a bit off from here, is my congratulations again. So in the garden green, I'm just going to stamp that down. Pull in the smallest tag, this one. Find a bit of washi tape. I can see some dark clouds. And we'll have it this way. And just line it in. And have a quick look at your comments. Try and get it straight. Kate, depends what mood you're in and how much time you have. I've forgotten what I was talking about then, about what you're up to today. Oh, with colouring maybe. Ellie, you've been cleaning out the guinea pigs again. Giving one of them a haircut before the rain comes in. Oh dear. Of course, you're fully trained in things like that with pets. Just running this through my machine. So Alfie went for his health check on, oh gosh, what day was it? I just so lose track of the days. Maybe it was Thursday or Friday last week. I can't keep up. I feel like time is just running away. So yeah, anyway, he went for his health check. All is fine. But we have noticed that the last couple of times we've come back from a walk down the lane, that he's had like a bit of a he's had a bit of a nap after walking, and then when he's gone to get up, he's had a bit of a dead leg. So we were a bit worried about that. Right, I am going to fussy cut. So anyway, I mentioned it to the vet and she said there was no swelling. Couldn't see anything obvious. It could just be muscular, so we're hoping it is. And I took him out on Sunday. I waited till later in the day because obviously I did some digging, I did some housework, I did some iron. I thought, right, I'll take him down the lane. I say it too hard because he knows what that means. And you know what? I literally went out of the gate, got about a third of the way down the lane, and then it started to rain. It's like, hallelujah, thanks. You just waited for me to step out before the heavens opened. So we got a bit damp and frizzy hair, but it was nice to get out. I did see a neighbour from the very end of the lane. Had a quick chat with him he was in his car, but apart from that, I very rarely see anyone when we venture out of the gates. Let's just cut these. You know, we're quite remote here. That's why when I love coming on here and I chat with you guys. It's great company. I know for some of you enjoy the company as well, but believe me, I enjoy it just as much. Even though I'm waffling away to myself, I know that you're here with me. That sounds like a sob story, doesn't it? I'm going to save that flower because it will come in handy. So, yeah, should we go and see the birthday girl later? So I had her yesterday. I've been having Evs on a Monday. But I had Vivi because they've got her a trampoline and they wanted to build it. So when I took her back last night, I was hoping and praying she was going to sleep on the way home because it was bedtime when I took her home. So that when we got back, there were no surprises spoilt. Right, just scroll through my comments. Da-de-da. Oh, layers, Kate. You're talking about layers when you were saying it depends what you're doing, yeah. I feel like I am a bit of a layers girl. how do I explain this? I'm not maybe very good at simple stamping. Maybe that's what it is. I feel this is my style. This is the way I've always created my projects. And if I just stamped on a piece of cardstock with an image and stuck on a rhinestone, that I'd feel like a bit of a fraud, and I'd feel like you were all felt like you were missing out on something. And maybe that's just because of what I've ingrained in you from how I craft. So it's not to mean I don't like simple stamping and I don't like simple projects. I like a lot of white on my projects, but I just love layers and I love height. As you know, I'm always layering up the dimensionals. Let's just pop that little polo on. Oh, it almost covers over my S. I'm gonna have to have it slightly to the right, so there's a bit of the inner piece showing, but that won't show. Okay, next, some more of the lovely linen thread that has come untangled everywhere. And I just want to straighten it out a bit. So I'm just pulling it between my nail and my forefinger. I'm glad you're enjoying watching, Vicky. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces the same length, like so. Put you to one side. This is probably way too much. And then I'm going to fold it in half, and then with the loop, I'm going to pinch the loop and just push it through the hole in my tag and grab all of it so that it all comes through. It just stuck to me then. And some came through before the other, but we'll sort that in a minute. And then these ends, I'm going to put through these loops and pull like that. I've got a shorter one there, that's it. So I've just created like a double layered tag. And just snip that off. And of course, add some dimensionals. Just a couple on the back of here. And we can lay this one down just above my little border. Right about there, I think. Like that. Now I think what I'm going to do before I stick my flowers on is attach this to my box. Now, what I'm going to do as well is show you what I've got inside. It's not that pretty, but I don't know about you crafters, but when I go to the supermarket, I kind of stalk the chocolate and biscuit aisle for things that I can package. Just because, you know, I created this box from this little packet of biscuits that I think are almost out of date. So 26th of May, I've had them a long time. So I might have to just tuck into these later. So it's quite a lot taller. It could go in that way, but it doesn't fit perfectly. But I designed it to fit this way. So there's quite a bit of a gap at the top. So it leaves a bit of scope for something slightly larger to go in there. And what I'm going to do is, I've put my biscuit in there just to give me a bit of substance for sticking down. I'm going to pop Tombow on the back of here. And then pop this layer over. And just give it a little press. So I can press on my biscuits for a minute. Oops, pressed a bit hard there, and I think I broke one. And then I'm going to turn it over, take them out, get my bone folder this way up, and just give it a good press, hoping that my front lid is straight, which it is just about. So just give it a good press down, make sure all that adhesive has stuck. Just pop my biscuits back in. The end does like to catch a bit on the inside, and I can see my lid isn't quite stuck there. So just a little bit of glue on a scrap Just wedge that under there and press it down. So now we're nearly done. We're just going to add in some flowers. So again, I've just cut up this like bunch of flowers. I've already curled that one. And we're going to pop one over here. So just a couple of minis on here. And a couple on here. And largest flower first. Now I can see what I've done now. Now that I'm putting this together, I can see what I should have done. So I'm just going to hover that so it's not covering my greeting. Now on my original project, I snipped into this pool party flower and chopped it off. But I think it's going to work okay if I just leave it like that. So let's stick those down as well. I'm going to overlap a little bit. Like that, that'll be fine. And then we just add some embellishments next. So I used some of the metallic pearls because I think they look really lovely in the gold against the petal, I was going to say petal pink, pale papaya and the cinnamon cider. So I'm just going to do a little cluster of the mini gold. I just think these are such a great size for like dotting around as well. And maybe one, they're quite slippery. Here. And let's put one on here. It's hanging over the edge quite a bit, but it'll be fine. And then I think I will just quickly colour in a rhinestone, a pearl. We'll have a medium one. I've got some more of these on order because I'm rapidly going through my pearls at the moment. And we'll pop that one onto the pool party like that. Now, originally when I designed this, I thought we could leave this as it is, but I feel like the lid kind of wobbles around a bit. So I thought, as we've got some beautiful ribbon, let's just tie like a little belly band just on its own. So don't want to unroll too much ribbon because I've still got all these ink pads open above me. So I'm just going to pull it nice and tight, pop my finger in, and there. And you will find if you think it's a bit loose, you can kind of tighten up this ribbon as well. Where are my big scissors? So let's cut one here and then this one. I'm going to hold it and snip quickly. This ribbon as well, how much do we get on here? 10 yards, so 9.1 meters. It seems to go on forever and ever, and it's lovely. Let's have it, you can have it to the side, or we can have it in the middle, like that. So there we go, there's my little biscuit box. Very simple, uses less than a sheet of card for the base. And I'm sure you could think of lots of other things that will fit in here, and I'll have to have a little experiment as well to see what else will go in there. So, card and a box. Got one more card to create with you. Let's put that to one side with the other. I've not got too much to waffle on about afterwards. So these are my final pieces. So we're going to use a different image in the set now. This isn't going to take too long to do. I need to bring in my blending brush. This is quite a quick card, I think. So a piece of basic white folded in half and just scored. Let's put those embellishments over there. Then obviously same colours again. I've got a layer, so my base always measures 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. So my card base will nearly always measure that. And then I've got a layer of Pool Party, which is 5 1/2 by 3 7/8. So that's the same size that I would cut my insert. And then we've got a layer of cinnamon side, a bit how we layered up the box, but slightly bigger border on these two layers. So this one measures 5 1/4, 5 1/4 by 3 5/8. And then my last layer, basic white, 5 1/8 by 3 1/2. All right, let's put these pieces to one side. Now on this layer, I'm going to pull in this scrappy bit again. Lost my Mac. I should just check my battery level. Let me just turn my charger on. I don't want that dying on me completely. So what I thought I would do is just do some really simple blending on the background of here. So circular motion to put the ink onto my brush. I'm going to take a little bit off and then just work in a circular motion just up in the top. I'm not worried about that being heavy. I'm going to cover that over. Down in the bottom left corner and up in the top right. Just to add a bit of interest to my layer behind my cards. That wasn't very good blending, it was a bit heavy-handed. So you can add as much or as little. I think that's going to be enough for me. Let's just put a bit there because I feel I need it. You'll see when I start attaching everything together. Then with my good old crumb cake Stampin' white marker, and I need the brush tip, I'm just going to flick in the lid to add some speckles. Love this effect. So hopefully, got a bit of glue on there, you can see that. Looks a bit rough, but once we put everything together. Now on this layer, I've cut another skinny strip of the DSP, so it's called hand penned. And then I've cut a border using the penned flowers, isn't it? Penned flowers dies. And I'm just going to pop these two together. So run of Tombow along here. And just lay that over. I'm going to cover over the stitching. Let's pull that to the end so that I don't waste all of it. So on the reverse of this one is like a stripy mint macaron. And then this is going to go down at the base of my top layer. Like that. So a bit of Tombow on this bit. Come on, Tombow. I know you're running low, but you've still got a lot to give. The Tombow keeps going and going, doesn't it? It's the glue that keeps giving. You think it's empty and then you just get a bit more out of it. Okay. So quite near the bottom, just lining that up with my grid paper. I know my paper is kind of like back to front, but I'd already cut the paper one way, and then because of the stripes, I wanted to be left with a border of stripes that way and not stripes going the other way, which sounds a bit double Dutch, but snip that end off. Save that bit for something else, of course. And we can now layer up these pieces. So this part will come together really quickly. And just mount them up nicely. It's getting a bit dark here. I can hear the birds singing though, they're happy. They don't mind when it rains, do they? Okay. I'm hoping we are going to have a bit of a dry spell because the grass really does need cutting. Jason did comment when he came home on Sunday night, "You didn't cut the grass then?" I mean, he's tried to educate me how to use the sit-on mower, but I'm just playing ignorant. I've got enough to be doing without having to cut the grass as well. I make up all the feeble excuses like, I might crash into a tree or I might drive it into the stream. It's better that you do it, darling. I think you should do it. You'll do a better job. Okay, so I've just layered all of that up. So really quickly coming together. Before I stamp my image, I'm going to do exactly the same with 3 tags. So I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon longer than I need to allow for trimming off. And because that bit's frayed already, I'm going to put that through all 3 layers. I'm going to fray quite a bit pulling it through. And then just flatten it out and kind of pull it like that. Oh, my tummy rumbled then. I mean, I've had breakfast. It's getting near coffee time. I won't be long with this one. And then the same as we did before. Let's not waste too much this time. Let's just tie a little knot. Pull it tight. We can adjust it after. Snip off the edges. Note to oneself, add linen thread to next order. And then if you just pull these apart gently, it will just bring the linen thread back down. Big scissors back in. Hold on to the ribbon and a good clean cut. And I think I'll leave it at that length and then probably trim it once it goes on my card and I decide. Now I've done these on a different colourway, but it makes no difference whatsoever. Let's put these straight down and then they're not floating around anywhere. So a little even fan at the bottom and just bring a couple of dimensionals just to hold those 2 joins, and then an even spread of dimensionals so that we don't get any sagging, because we don't like sagging in the middle, especially when it goes through the post as well. Things get a little bit damaged in the post, don't they? Kate, you're enjoying the colour combos. Yeah, I know. Like I've said, the paper just helps us. So these tags are going to sit. Again, I thought, shall I have the white tag straight? Shall I just... I didn't know. So I'm just going to have it so that it's kind of central. I'm going to have to trim my ribbon. So we'll just leave it at that. Now for my stamping, let's bring the old mat back in. That might be large enough. I need to mount up, which I haven't done already. This one. Now let me think, does it fit on a D block? It does, just from my memory. Always be careful when you're pulling these out of your cases that you don't, if they stick in there quite a bit, you could tear them. So this will just about, if I twist it, fit on my block. A little bit of overhang, but I will just be conscious of that when I'm inking. So this won't take too long now. Inked my finger. Good at doing that. We'll just stamp this one down without wasting too much cardstock. And then fill in with some colour. So we've got this stamp in the set that fills in the main flower. And I'm going to do mine in Pool Party. So I've not used this image as much. I'm very much drawn to the big bunch of flowers. So let's just fill that one in. Then the medium flower I'm going to do in the Pale Papaya. Like so. And then we'll just bring back in the mint macaron. Oh, all these ink pads open. And the garden green. Quickly wipe those down just to make sure I'm not double dipping in any colours. And I want quite a bit of, let's start with mint macaron. I want quite a bit of dark focus on this. So I think I'm going to do just one large in the mint macaron. And then in the garden green, we'll focus on this one and this one at the bottom, just so it ties in with that tag that I've done. And then I think the little one we'll just do in mint macaron. I'm not colouring in the stem. I'm leaving that as it is. If you've got the Stampin' blends in Crumb, you could colour that in. But I'm just going to leave it plain for now. And then let's trim off this bit because I can get another stamped image out of that. From the Penned Flowers dies, it's this one here that cuts out this image. We'll just tape it down with some washi. Line it in as best as the eye can see. And I always find if you've not judged your lining up very well, you can always go back in and trim a bit of white off if you've got too much of a white edge on one side. Okay, so just push that out carefully. That bit of washi tape is nearly done now. So that's the stamping. We just need one more. I'm going to use this piece. One more congratulations. I do love our photopolymer. They just really help you line things in. I'm going to cut this one the other way. Bit of a smudge down there on the bottom. I think I pressed a little bit too hard, but... And then I've also got a very skinny strip of the Pale Papaya cardstock because I love using little skinny strips. I don't throw them away and I always try and find a use for the scrappy bits that might often get like scooped into your waste bin. I think it's just nice to use them and just add little accents of colour. Right, let's move the mat away. Bring back in our card. Add a bit of height to the flower. Oh, I've got two then. Oop, can't do that left-handed. That will do, because our leaves are going to hang over the edge. Oh, didn't want to stay there. And I think we'll just have... Actually, let's put this on first. let's decide where this is going. So I like to just tie in, when I'm doing skinny strips, as close to the DSP as possible. So, and I've done this one slightly different to the one that I've done originally. Let's just have an overhang of, say, like that. A little bit of Tombow on there. Stick that down. So I've stuck my tags kind of opposites, go in the opposite way. I've got a little bit of Tombow coming out. And then this one's going to go flat down as well. Thank you, Karen. That's a lovely comment. Thank you. And we'll just pop that one down there. And then this one, maybe just tuck. Oh, you're not stuck yet. Maybe just tuck that. Just keeps pulling it up. Under there. Like that. Got a little bit of Tombow escaping down there, but I've got my adhesive remover. I can take that off after. And then I think just a pearl to finish. So I think this was definitely the quickest card. Wasn't any fussy cutting. We'll have a nice large one in the pale papaya, just in the centre of that flower. And just pick that up. It's alive. And pop it down there. So there we go. Let me bring in my original. So this is the one I've just done. And then my original, the tags are going the other way. Can you see I've fanned them out the other way? So they are very much what I would call the same but different. So there we go. Another insight into one of my most favourite stamp sets. Let's bring in the other two projects. Those to one side. So we've got the card that we did first, where we created the border using the largest stamp, just to create a lovely border around our card. That's quite busy. That is quite busy for me, but I don't dislike it. I do like it. Then we did this cute little biscuit box. Oh, my ribbon is twisted. That wasn't very clever, was it? I can sort that after. And so this just slides off. Have to retie it. And just opens up. And then inside we've got a treat. Then we've just done this card. So don't know if you're all in shot. So there we go. If you like the products that I've been using and you want to purchase them and recreate anything that I've done, please get in touch. You can shop online with me. You can message me direct if you're local. I can post out orders at cost. Don't know if I can get all of these on the screen. So, Ellie, it wasn't on your wish list. Gosh, this stamp set was top of my wish list. Obviously, it's very floral. It's very feminine. I just love it, absolutely love it. And I'm trying to really focus different ways, you know, of using it this month. So yeah, so you can shop online with me. If you've got any questions, please get in touch. If you're catching up with the replay on YouTube, I would much appreciate that you hit the subscribe button and give me a like, because that helps me with YouTube. And if you're not a demonstrator, I would love you to share this live with your friends as well on your homepage, because it just means more people get to see me, which, you know, is really, really good. It's the whole point of getting out there and sharing these things with you. Two quick promotions just to remind you of. You will have seen them. I talked about them on Saturday. We've got the Connect, Craft and Collect offer that's going. So this is when you host a party. It doesn't mean that you have to actually host a party. It could be, you might have an order that reaches £200. of course, we've got the join offer. So if you've got a long wish list, you really need to join my team. But this is a great opportunity. You could gather a couple of friends together. I would do a little Zoom party with you, and you could put your orders together and you could earn the extra £20. So a really great opportunity. And look, it focuses on the hand pen petals, this flyer. It's beautiful. And then finally, it wouldn't be alive, I wouldn't be on here without mentioning about the opportunity of joining my team and being a part of an amazing community of crafters. We have so much fun. We just share our creativity with each other. We've all got the same thing in common. You know, we love paper and we love colours and we love stamping and inking. And we can share that excitement with each other. So such an amazing opportunity. For just £99, you can receive £154 of products of your choice in your kit. And it ships to you free of charge as well. So right, I think I have talked for way much longer. I did have some projects to show you from my upcoming classes this month, but I think I'm going to save that for another live. And going back to our chat about the weather, Ruth, I can see spots on the Velux, so it looks like we're about to have some rain. So I will bid you all a farewell for now. Please take care if you are out and about on your travels. Stay safe, everybody. I'm not going to faff with that now because I need to untie it. Stay safe and take care. But, you know, you do have to mix and mingle a little bit. It's good for the soul to be with other people. Just do it safely. So take care for now, and I'll catch you all very soon. So bye.